Let's call the public hearing to order for the Village of Round Lake Beach for Monday, December 14th, 2015. Please call the roll.
Trustee Husk.
Here.
Trustee Valdez. Here. Trustee Wallace.
Here.
Trustee Butler.
Here.
Trustee Mount.
Here.
Trustee Bennis.
Here.
Mayor Hill.
Here. Let the record show there's a quorum present. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by trustee Wallace, second by trustee Mount. Any questions? We can't add anything to it, so if there's any questions? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the agenda is approved. We have only one item of business on this public hearing. That's our 2015 tax levy, and I'll turn it over to our finance director, Kevin Boyso.
Turned off. Dressed up so in a tuxedo, what's this? He's raising the bar.
Ready?
You better step it up.
Okay. Thank you, Mayor and the board. There is a change on the PowerPoint presentation, and also to what you have printed out. We can send these out to everyone, but later after the meeting. In the meantime, I'll briefly talk about what the change is. The original presentation showed that the property tax levy was going to be increased by 4.7%. The change is that it will increase by 0.8%. So instead of going up by 4.7%, it will go up by, as proposed, by less than 1 percentage point. So that's the change. Again, I apologize. The one's presentation that you have will be outdated. The one that we'll be emailing will have everything corrected. Tonight we will cover the economic environment that the village operates under, some of the local financial challenges, and we'll talk about what the changes between the 2014 tax levy and the 2015 tax levy. And then if there are any questions, we'll open the floor for that. The economic environment, the state, as most of you know, there is a little bit of unknown at the state level they're operating without a budget since July. It has affected the village directly, and there are also some laws that are being proposed that could have an effect on the village's finances. The first one is, which thankfully thanks to the work of the several groups, there is now a law that has released these funds, but the state did withhold $558,000 for the first couple of months of our fiscal year. So again, the village is having the fund balance help with cash flow issues, so it wasn't the sky is falling type of environment. But again, that's all thanks to the practices that we have had over the last several years. The law that is being proposed right now and everybody's keeping an eye on is a property tax freeze. What that would do is whatever it's decided tonight, the rates, not the amounts, would be frozen for tax levy years 2016 and 2017. With two exceptions, the police pension and the police protection line item. So depending on what the actual recommendation is, that amount could fluctuate in 2016 and 2017. The other item that's being talked about, again, would probably have the biggest effect on the village's finances, the reduction of income tax. So what's being proposed is to reduce it by about 50%. The current amount that the village is budgeting for these, it's $2.8 million. If that's reduced by 50%, then the village would, in theory, lose or lost revenues would be $1.4 million. Another challenge that we are being faced with, it's the increase in pension costs. Again, people are living longer. There is a little bit more benefits that the pension is covering these days. So that's one of the reasons why the levy it continues to increase. Another challenge that was recently presented by one of our middle manager groups is the need for facility replacement and having a plan for it. So the plan that we have in place and that we will be implementing in fiscal year 2017 has three components. The first component is look at what has happened over the couple of years prior and what items need to be looked at for replacement. We have estimated that there is $908,766 would be needed to fund everything that needs to be replaced that wasn't replaced over the last 20 years. The second component would be the annual depreciation. So this is an amount that, for example, whenever a car is purchased for the police department, and we estimate that that car will last 5 years. If that car costs $20,000, then that car will depreciate $4,000 every year. That's the idea behind a facility replacement and adding a depreciation and budgeting for it. So there's when anyone looks at our financial statements, there is a line item in there that says depreciation expense. There's one thing identifying that amount versus budgeting for it. The proposal would be to budget for that depreciation amount starting with fiscal year 2017. So fiscal year 2017 would have a new fund for facilities. And then the next component is replacement going forward. So over the next 5 years, we have estimated that there will be a $1,240,531 needed to be replaced in buildings, parking lots, and equipment over the next 5 years again. The next thing is we know what we can sustain as far as employees, and we currently operate between 75 and 77 employees, full-time equivalent. We know the average increase is 2.5% in salary, so that's kind of the easy part. Now the more difficult part is trying to forecast health insurance rates and workers' comp rates. Again, they go all over the place. How is the village responding to these challenges? How is village management handling these? Again, one of the things that management recommends is using the home rule powers to levy for the pension obligations. So every year we would get a letter from the pension board saying this is how much the actuary recommends, and we bring that forward as a recommendation to add to the levy. Capital planning, again, the capital plan now includes the facility replacement part of it, and now it's going to be more predictable. And the idea behind this is that if there is a roof that needs to be replaced in 15 years after installation, the funding will be there to make that happen. Then the next thing is sustainable employee base. So looking for public and private partnerships, looking for what other communities or other taxing districts are doing, and maybe partnering with those districts and getting economies of scale or a higher purchasing power that way. Also, the use of technology. Over the last couple of years, the village has invested over $500,000 in new technology, including the phones and BSNA and New World. Overall, when you put all those systems together, the idea is that we'll become more efficient. Now, when we look at the property tax levy and what we're recommending this evening, the 2014 tax levy included a corporate amount, and that was $1,011,240 in 2014. The police pension included $962,273. And then we had liability insurance of $365,000 and IMRF $150,000. So that made up the 2014 tax levy. Now, the 2015 tax levy includes those 4 items, but it also includes another item called police protection. Again, that's all going to be discussed over the next slide of what those details or what the amounts are being proposed. Again, these amounts have changed, and calendar year 2015 or tax year 2015 takes into account that the increase will be by the inflation rate, which at this point is estimated to be 0.8%, so less than 1%. And then we are proposing to add the police protection item in there. And then we're also forecasting the EAV will decrease by 2%, so that when you add all of that together, you come up with a proposed tax levy of $2,605,558, and the tax rate will be 0.855%, so again, less than 1%. As compared to 2014, the rate was 0.832. That was the final rate. Now, what the impact is going to be on the home value and also a property owner, there's 2 scenarios that we like to take a look at. One is what the value of this property was in 2014, and if it goes down by 2%, what the impact will be. With the proposed tax rate, the impact will be an increase of $3 from 2014 to 2015. So the rate, again, the home value would decrease by 2% because we're forecasting EAV will go down by 2%. So 399 to 402. Then the next scenario is looking at a home valued at 150,000 this year. The increase would be from $416 to $427. Now we'll take a look at the levy breakdown, or what percentage of what goes to police pension, and such. So the first one is the police pension is 44%, so the highest amount of the proposed tax levy will go to the police pension, or the annual required contribution. Then 32% would go to corporate, and that's $796,014. 14% would go to liability insurance, 6% would go to IMRF, and 4% would be added for the police protection. Now, what the estimated tax rate will be, again, we talked about the assumptions. This is all based on forecasted amounts, so when it comes down to the actual rate, these rates may change. The assumptions are the equalized assessed value, or the EAV, would decrease by 2%. Inflation rate would be 0.8%, and that's applied to the 2014 extension. And then we would add a police protection purpose to the levy. The projected 2015 EAB would go to $293,232,424, and the 2015 tax rate would go to 0.855%. Now the rate breakdown, how it goes to other taxing districts. So when you look at your property tax bill, out of every dollar you pay, 67 cents of that $1 will go to the school district for property taxes. 8 cents will go to the fire protection district. 6 cents will go to the park district. 6 cents will go to the village of Round Lake Beach. 4 cents would go to the Round Lake Area Library District. 4 cents would go to Lake County. 2 cents would go to CLC, and then the remaining 3 cents would be split among 4 different taxing districts. As a percentage of the total tax rate, the village's portion of it, so the village portion of the pie, if you will, has continued to go down, but because we started to increase the rate in 2014 and now the proposed rate by 0.8% in 2015, we're estimating that this amount will continue to go up, but that's still way under 10% of the total taxes that property owners pay in the village of Round Lake Beach. With that in mind, are there any questions?
I have one. As far as the property tax is concerned, they may fluctuate, go up, or when would that change occur, if it does?
That will depend on when the county releases the equalized assessed value. So we're expecting that around February, March, when we'll know that for sure.
Well, thank you, Kevin.
Thank you.
Anyone in the audience have any questions on the tax levy hearing? Well, thank you all for being here. Okay, if there's no questions by the board, is there a motion to adjourn? Motion by
Second.
trustee Husk, second by trustee, oh, I'm sorry, please.
I have a proposal. That's okay. I spoke with the Public Works Department.
State your name for the record, sir.
Is this about the tax levy?
No.
Okay, yeah, this is just a tax levy hearing right now. We'll start the village board meeting in a few minutes.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
It might be a while though, so go ahead and speak. That's fine.
I spoke with Randy with Public Works. My name is Ken Schmidt, and I'm a resident
Please,
around. Lake-
excuse me, can you state your name for the record?
Yeah, Ken Schmidt,
And the address?
Hear it.
1516 Ridgeway.
Thank you.
And there's what I believe a very dangerous intersection because of missing signs. And Randy said that he is not able to add the missing signs because of the way that the intersection is listed in section 5-4-3. It's listed as a four-way, but it's really two three-way intersections. And when people come, it's kind of hard to describe.
Oh, yes, yeah, familiar with that.
The problem is that when cars coming down Clarendon stop at the stop sign, and let's say they keep going straight, then they hit the next intersection, which is the other east end. There's two places where east end hits. They don't have to stop again. So the people who are at that intersection don't know that. So they think they stop, and once they stop, then they can go. But there's a stream of traffic coming through that doesn't have to stop.
Okay,
So all I'm asking is that you put little signs that say oncoming traffic does not stop, or traffic from right does not stop.
okay, we have our Public Works looked into that. Scott's here tonight, he'll check that out.
Okay.
Want to meet after this meeting, off to the side, I can grab your, suggestion and look it over, so we could, look at it internally and maybe take it to a committee meeting.
So as soon as we're done closing the tax levy hearing, you can talk to Scott real quick, maybe we'll take a copy of your diagram there.
Okay.
And work it out from that way.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions? Okay, we had a motion, I believe, from trustee Husk and a second from trustee Valdez. We'll adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?